Social media has led us to believe that the best way to practice self love is by hyper consumerism. Companies spend a fortune on advertising in order to get their products right in front of our faces. In other words, they have made us believe that we can buy ourselves into self love, and this is all marketed as self care. But is that really self care? Is that really self love? In this video essay, I'm going to be demystifying the concept of self love, self care, how they relate to each other, and what that might look like for you. Let's go. So, starting off strong, I want to begin with a very strong stance by saying that self care is not always self love. Depending on where you live in, if you're on TikTok or Instagram and you type in self love, for example, different aesthetically pleasing rituals of skincare, body care, hair care, nail care, whatever will pop out. And attached to those things, you will see ads that are persuading you to buy those products. And self-love becomes materialistic rather than intrinsic. It sets unrealistic standards, and not to even mention the detrimental effects on your pockets. For example, so if I don't use the expensive facial scrub that's an influencer that was paid by a company recommended to me to buy, then it means I don't love myself. On the other hand, when you meet a person that has mastered self love, I mean, these are the people that we refer to as charming or charismatic. We want to be there, we want to be friends with them because they radiate such an aura, a type of energy. They just seem like lights. And we want some of that light to bounce off to us. You can always tell because they're at ease with themselves. So I've been fortunate to observe this type of people, and I think I finally understand why they are the way they are. So ultimately, self love boils down to three things. The first one is radical self acceptance, two is self respect, and three is, of course, self care. So, the first one, radical acceptance, what does that even mean? It's all about accepting yourself the way you are, changing what you can, leaving what you can't, learning how to be comfortable in your own skin, accepting yourself regardless of perceived flaws, not allowing yourself to be affected by mundane things such as your insecurities. For instance, I've had friends that would point out things that they don't like about themselves in terms of physical appearance, and in a million years, I would have never predicted that this is something that they are insecure about. It just goes to show that sometimes your flaws, things that you think that are flaws, are just flaws to you. Nobody else is looking at you like that to be like, oh, okay, this is his insecurity, this is her insecurity. Nobody really cares. It's just you that has made it this big thing in your own head. Because the truth of the matter is, nobody will judge you if you do not judge yourself. Let me repeat it again. Nobody will dare to judge you if you do not judge yourself. Do not let social media dictate what you should look like, because social media does not even care about you in the first place. It thrives off your insecurities and rage and all these negative emotions because they want you to keep being on the app. They want you to react and respond and keep sharing, keep keep spending as much time as you can on the app because you are the products on their applications. Use these apps feed off your energy, your mental health is of no importance to these social media companies. So for your own sake, do not be afraid to use the mutes, not interested, and the big bad boy, my favorite, the block button. It's all at your disposal. You will literally have all the power. Do not be afraid to use it. That's for radical self acceptance. And the next one is respect. Respect, I think, is so quintessential. You cannot tell me that you love yourself if you do not practice self-respect. And what does self-respect look like? Involves two things: standards and boundaries. Standards are your expectations, what you expect from yourself and others. For example, a standard could be I don't procrastinate on tasks. I do the things I say I will do. I keep promises to myself. I work out 5 times a week. That could be a standard for you. You're the one that will set your standards. Standards are personal to each and every one of us. My standard cannot be your standard. So that is up to you. Then the next one is boundaries. Boundaries are, in my head, the opposite of what a standard is. Boundaries are what you do not like, what you do not tolerate at all. So a boundary could be like, I do not participate in recreational drug use. So if you ever found yourself in a situation and people were pressuring you to be like, oh, just take this, you'll be, no, I did not take this, and end of story, and you leave. Yeah, a boundary could also be like, I don't tolerate disrespect from anybody. That's a boundary. So ultimately, standards and boundaries are personal to you. As you grow older, as you get to know yourself even better, you'll become firmer on some will become looser, some will have caveats. But a tip I have for setting standards is, think of your ideal self. Your ideal self, how would she act? How would she behave? How would he respond to certain situations? What are his habits? When you think of your ideal self, you can work backwards and try to implement those things that you think your ideal self would be doing. And that can be a standard for yourself. Then for boundaries, just think of what you do not like, or maybe something someone has done to piss you off, and you know that this thing makes me uncomfortable. That could be a boundary right there. And do not be afraid to set boundaries with people. Trust me, the people that will love you. The people that will respect you will still respect you regard. In fact, they will respect you more because they're like, oh, this person has self-respect. And I like that. Imagine if you're just someone that just lets anything go. Anything just goes with you. You're just there. Ah, no, 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 no. Over here, we love and respect ourselves. And also for self-respect, think of the person you most revere in your life. It could be your religious leader, it could be your parent, a family member, a mentor. Think of how you revere this person and implement the same things but with yourself. Think of how you would treat this person. Think of how you would talk to this person. Think of how, if this person told you to do something, you will not think twice, you do it immediately. You need to reframe that energy and put it on yourself. That is for respect. Then the last and final one is self care. Yeah, so this is where all your rituals, your personal grooming rituals come in. You take care of your body, your hair care, your skin care, your nail care, all the cares. It's wonderful. Do them. But my problem is when you do not practice radical self acceptance and you do not have self respect, but you do all the self care rituals in the world, you will look nothing more than a glorified Barbie doll. And that is the truth, because you will use a mask of beauty to cover up your own inadequacies. And my God, there's it's terrible. It's so terrible to think about. So lastly, self care is not the cake batter. Instead, it is the icing on the cake. Self respect and acceptance is the cake batter. On a final note, self love is not the glamorized version that you see on social media. Often it's what you don't see. It could be the painful moment of letting go of a person because they no longer align with your goals. It could be staying up late to complete a task because you said that you were going to do it and you always do what you say you're going to do. Ultimately, you cannot buy yourself into self love. You can only love yourself by practicing radical self acceptance, respect, and of course, self care. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.